The old must step aside. That seems to be true. But to impress it on your mind, this little story comes to me, which I think you will enjoy. Small boy told his father, he says, when I grow up, he says, when I grow up, I want to drive a great big army tank. He said, I want to drive a great big army tank. Father says, my son, that's all right with me. I won't stand in your way. You will get it after a little bit. Age must give way to youth. Age must give way to youth. But not in that way, I hope. Now, somebody just got it. That's all right. Now the power to do these things, the power to overcome and keep youthful, comes from where? Comes from God. Comes from the practice of yoga, whereby you attain communion with God. When Jesus expressed the wonderful power and showed these great things which he did, changed people, even in a state of death, brought them to life. Why? Because he was in contact with the power of God within him. So can we be that way. God communion is the greatest thing to keep you young and full of good cheer and a credit to God's handiwork. God communion is the greatest thing. We must not forget that. If you have God communion, how can the pattern in your mind be anything but right? It cannot. This is the greatest key. That's why I'm pointing it out as forcefully as I can. Keep the thought pattern right. And the thought pattern will absolutely be right if you commune with God through regular meditation by following the techniques and meditations which he has left for us through the channel of our Master. Keep the thought pattern right. That's the greatest thing if we will but realize that. In God are all things. In him are all things, and yet we do not go to him. Even in retaining youth, we should go to God because that's the right way. He can give us all things because all things are in him. He has made all things. He has made each and every one of us. He is seated behind the thoughts of us all. He is in every cell, the correct function of which makes you look and be youthful. Why shouldn't we go to him in all matters, even in the matter of retaining youth? I have a reference at this time to give you from our Master's writings. Life has a bright side and a dark side, for the world of relativity is composed of light and shadows. If you permit your thoughts to dwell on evil, you yourself will become ugly. If you permit yourself to dwell on evil, you yourself will become ugly. The saints do not do that. They dwell on what? They dwell on God and good and are in communion with him. Look only for the good in everything, that you absorb the quality of beauty. And finally, with the sharpness of my will, I tore to shreds the stifling chrysalis of ignorance. Ignorance is the thing. Ignorance is what keeps us from being youthful and feeling the presence of God. Out of the dark threads of my shrouding fears, O my brothers, says the Master, follow me in the flight to him. From God we have come, from his great love. Master often said he is crying for us more than we can imagine, much more than we are crying for him. If we will but give him a little time, just a little time each day, and keep our most important engagement with him, he will sustain us in all ways, even in retaining our youth, because he is all.
In order to profit from these practical teachings in a meaningful way, which will have a definite and tangible impact in your life, we suggest that you subscribe to the Self-Realization Fellowship's home study course on the science of yoga. Please visit the SRF on the web at yogananda-srf.org or call the SRF's Mother Center in Los Angeles, California at 323-225-2471.